Welcome to Gamertag Radio episode 1193. This is your host, Danny Pena, and also joining me for this iconic special episode because we're hype as hell. We got Tony Polanco from the Throwdown Show. Tony, what's up, man?
What's going on, Danny? Today we are going to the West, man.
Oh, we're going all the way to the West. All the way to the West. So the reason why this is a special episode, PlayStation gave us early access to Horizon Forbidden West. Originally, we are gonna have Paris also to be here, but due to scheduling, he couldn't be on. But we're still gonna record this review with Tony Polanco. And Tony, before we have a conversation about Horizon, this whole episode is gonna be Horizon.
Yeah.
How's it been since the last time? Since the last time you've been on the podcast, man, GTR.
Yeah, it's been good. The last one we did, I believe, was God of War for PC. We were talking about that, and at that time, I was telling everybody, the Gamertag Radio crew specifically, that for the past 4 months, I've been a computing writer for Tom's Guide. It's been great. Learning a lot about the tech industry specifically, but obviously, the gaming is still in my heart, so I still get to cover plenty of gaming news and all that, and review games, obviously. So that's what we're here today to review Horizon. I finished it. I'm still playing it. That's how good the game is, and it's gonna be dope. But yeah, I'm doing very, very well on my end. Yeah, and on Twitter, I know it doesn't matter how much, but I did reach over 10,000 followers. So I'm getting
good.
there. I'm getting there.
That's good. Good.
Bit by bit.
Yeah, for those who are listening to this for the first time, feel free to follow Tony, follow me if you want. Godfrey, Tony, what's your Twitter account so people can follow you?
Yeah, it's Romudeth, Romudeth.
Awesome.
And I'm also that on PSN and Xbox Live, man. So follow me.
Yeah. Well, according to the people online, they say that you're not a true gamer. So
yeah, no, yeah, I'm a fake gamer because my gamer tag scores low.
That makes. Dude, let me tell you, that makes no sense. 0 sense. So you're how they say fake neutral. Like that makes
I'm a fake neutral.
No sense.
Yeah, but me and Paris got called out. We're like, oh, I see what you guys are doing. You guys are faking it online. You're pretending all this stuff. We're like, okay, you got us, bro.
Oh God, I don't know. You know what? Let them deal with that stuff and let them dream if they want.
Let them dream.
Let them dream. All right. For those who are listening, make sure to head over to gamertagradio.com. Listen to our past episodes. We have tons of content. Tony, over 1,000 episodes. It's insane.
Amazing.
People could go back to the old days or listen to the most current ones, and that's fine. Just listen. And make sure to spread the word about GTR. I think it will help us out if you tell others about the podcast. Also, if you would like to be part of our family discussion segment episode, super easy. Here's how you can contact us. Now, before we go to the official review, make sure to subscribe and follow us on any podcast app. Just search for Gamertag Radio. We're there. Post a review. It will help us out. It will take less than a minute. Even if you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, it will help us out for more people to discover us. So go ahead. Do your thing. All right, Tony. So the main goal of this review, no spoilers at all.
Yeah.
There's things that we can't talk about at all. But usually I want the listener to hear our excitement, our opinions about the game, not about the story, because I want them to figure that out on their own. But I think the goal is just to break it down. Like, let's compare it to the first game, how it is this game, what is like the major difference of Horizon Forbidden West compared to the first one, So we'll go from there, right? We're good with that?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. So as a person that just started playing Horizon recently, because I just started downloading the PC version. I've been playing that a lot of hours on that. I was focusing more on the story, just the main campaign. I'll do quests here and there, like the side quests, right? So my schedule has been kind of crazy, so I couldn't really completely finish the first one. I'm almost there. I'm literally towards the end.
Yeah.
I got the second game, which I've been hype about it because I've seen the comparison of just like the graphics, the animations, the stuff that you could do in this one, and even the story is very interesting when you see like the previews, or even when you start playing it, very very interesting. Way more than the first one, I think, in my opinion.
Interesting.
Very very interesting.
Yeah.
But I had an amazing time playing the second one. Just first of all, we've been playing the PlayStation 5 version.
That's right.
So we're gonna talk about the differences between this one and PS4 if you want. I know as of right now, if you purchase the PS5 version, you could also select the PS4 version. I think there's an update that for those that are planning to get the PS5 version from the PlayStation 4, I think there's gonna be an update, so it will be free for you to like upgrade to the PS5. So that's something that just happened recently because a lot of people were talking about that, you know. So,
Yeah.
but Tony, I have to say, I feel like the world is a lot bigger. It feels different. There's a lot new enemies in the world. Like I said earlier, even the animation is a little bit different than the first one. And I feel that just the story overall, compared to the first one, is even deeper. The conversations with different characters you get to see in the game, way deeper than the first one. Do you feel the same? That's how I felt as something that just someone that just started doing this, just playing the game. That's how I feel so far. Do you feel the same way or no?
Yeah, it's interesting because you're still kind of playing the first game, so it's fresh. Like to me, I played, beat, and got the platinum in the game. What is it, 3, 4 years ago? Whenever the first one came out,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't really know it. I don't remember it very well, like as well as you do, obviously. But this game, Forbidden West, does a very good job of doing a recap, so I appreciated that. This is gonna sound like a negative, but it may not be a negative to some people. What
Yeah.
I felt was like, oh, this is more of the same. Like I didn't like obviously the graphics are better and all that, and you're right, some of the animations are better.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else, it felt like, oh, it's just Zero Dawn 2. Like the way the story begins, because the story only takes there's only like a 6 months difference between the where the last one left off and this one starts, right? So I'm like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
so we're just kind of picking up where we left off. Obviously, the first one had a definitive ending, right? But there were some things that were kind of loose ends. So this one picks up where that off, and I feel that this game really gets going about maybe 5 hours in. I'm talking about just with the narrative. Like, okay, this is Forbidden West story because at the beginning it just felt like we're doing more Horizon Zero Dawn stuff, right? But as I kept playing, I was like, oh, this is dope. It's more of the same of the first one, right? But I also think that's a good thing because if you love the first game, you are going to love this. There's really no differences. Obviously, there are new enemies, like you said, new weapons to try and all that. And now that I'm thinking about it, I guess the weapon wheel, not the weapon, the conversation wheel, it is a little bit deeper and more involved, and you actually do get to make some choices.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see any choices that impacted the gameplay too much, but to me, if and I said this in my review, that's actually by the time you guys are listening to this episode now, it will be live on Tom's Guy, so please make sure to check that out. That was kind of the theme I had going. It was like, oh, this is more of the same, but that's not a bad thing. So that's my impression. So hearing you say that it's like better and different for you, it's very interesting because I felt it
Mm-hmm.
was like the same thing. Like again, that's not a bad thing. It just
No.
felt like I was just repeating the same things I did from the first one.
Yeah, I think the reason why I'm saying that, Tony, is because I felt like even when you have conversations with the different characters you get to meet in the game, you could select a lot more. Like you said, it doesn't impact the story, but it gets deeper, the conversation on whatever it is you're talking about, right? And you
Yes.
get to know more about the characters. And even when you're walking around the area that you're in the game, you get to see creatures that is not available in the first game.
That's right.
That it feels what the right word. I don't know if it's like more bigger, iconic. Like it feels different. That's as someone that
Yeah.
just started playing. Like I could tell there's stuff that the developers of Guerrilla Games wanted to do on the first one. They couldn't do it
Yeah.
because I don't know, maybe the timing or maybe it just didn't work out in the first game. They added into this game, and if it just feels different. I don't know, like maybe to you, you play this a long time ago. Maybe you forgot about it, but someone is fresh. That's why I feel that way, you know.
Yeah.
And even like yes, there's certain things that it seems very, very familiar to the first game, but I don't know. It just feels very, very different. And I had a blast playing this game, man. Like just the story is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And I feel like the conversation is even deeper than the first one. Because now again you have more options to select. Like you want to know more things that the character that you meet, you want to learn more about the things that they've been saying. And the conversations is really, really long. Dude, there was one, it was like 10, 15 minutes for me because, again, I was doing side quests, doing the main missions, because I was selecting everything that was available there because I just wanted to get to know the person I'm talking to. You get what I'm saying? For
Yeah, no,
me.
I did the same thing. I checked everything. I will say this though, this is not spoiler, but like for example, if you do like a main mission, right, like something that's very impactful, some of the characters will comment on that, which I think is really cool. So I'm like, oh, if I didn't do that mission, they probably wouldn't have brought that up, right? So
Hmm.
I thought that was really cool. And you're right. I there were many moments where I spent like 10, 15 minutes just going through all the option wheels just to learn about them because, like you said, and again, it is because I haven't played the first game in so long, but
Hmm.
like the world does feel very rich. And like I always felt that, but this one felt like even more so. Like it feels like I'm watching. I'm like, yo, I want to watch. I want to see a movie about this. I want to read a novel about this. Like there's so much going on that I think is really dope. Like they built the world so well. So I think in that sense, you're right. They expanded on it, like what was already there, like the narrative, the world, and everything. They
Hmm.
really took it to the next level. And there's a lot of really cool twists and turns that were just kind of throwaway lines in the first game, and now it's become a big thing. So I thought that was very well. Like I again, even though I did feel like it was more the same, I do acknowledge the fact that they really are building their world and the whole story from beginning to end. And I did beat the game extremely well done. And even if you only stick to the main story, you're going to be extremely satisfied. It's not like some games where you feel like throwing a bunch of fluff at you to kind of space it out. No, this is perfect. And even if you do the side stuff, it's not like, for example, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where it feels like it's too much. This feels just right. There's a lot of content in there, but you always get something new out of it, right? So you don't feel like you're just going through the motions. So I thought that was really good. The mission variety, even though at the end you kind of are just killing a bunch of robots or whatever, it still feels different because you always meet these side characters that let you see a different side of the world. And also, like you said, the actual world itself, so many different environments, right? You got snowy mountains, you got deserts, you got swamps, you got jungles. It's so dope, and that was something from the first game that I really appreciated. Just the variety of the different environments, and this one does it a little bit more. Like just the effects, I think is because we were playing on PlayStation 5. Like, yo, when it snows, it is so thick, right? It feels like you're in the middle of it. When the dust picks up in the middle of the desert, you feel like you're in the middle of a storm, And when the rain comes in, yo, you feel it, man. And Danny, here's my question to you:
Hmm.
did you play on performance mode or
Oh,
fidelity mode?
you know what? It's funny because I was going to ask you that question.
Yeah,
I tried I tried the high quality mode just to see.
yeah.
I felt better playing this performance mode. I feel like it's smoother, faster. Performance was my choice. High quality mode. It looks great. Don't get me wrong. It looks really, really good. And actually, for those that don't know, we just recently got an update to make the game
Yeah.
even better. Um, it was just not for me. I think performance mode was the choice for me. And what about you?
Yeah. I'm the same way. I liked quality mode, but I didn't see enough of a visual difference to get rid of the smooth frame rates, right? And this is another question I have for you, right? Because
Mhm.
again, I'm like, yo, I don't remember the first game being this difficult. This game was kicking my butt the entire
Yeah,
time,
I
right?
was gonna ask you
So
that. I was gonna
yeah,
ask you something about that.
so I believe, and we're gonna talk about the next, but I believe having it at performance mode, which it's not always 100% 60 frames a second, but it targets it. I feel you will play better. You need that with how ferocious the robots are. Because I'm like, yo, this is ridiculous right now.
Hmm.
It felt like I was playing Bloodborne at some point. It's like, yo, this is hard. Like the first game was tough, but this one, it seems like developers like, no, just go at it. And I'm playing on normal mode, right? It's like,
Hmm.
yo, this is brutal right now. You
Yeah,
know, so what do you
so
think?
I started playing this on normal, and again, like I've been reviewing so many games, not only for GTR but also for work. I've been helping my team with a lot of games. So
Yeah,
I was like, look, I just don't have the time to play this as the harder difficulty or anything like that. So I'm gonna keep it real, Tony. Like I made it the difficulty easier because I just wanted to enjoy the story, get to enjoy the world, do side quests, do the main campaign. So that's how I did it. Like originally, I started hours like that with just normal, and then again, you say it was brutal. I
it was
wanted to
brutal.
I wanted to go as far as possible in the game, and I made it just the difficulty easier. And there's gonna be people that just don't have the time.
Yeah.
Like the situation I'm in, that I have to review so many games for work and for GTR. That was the only choice for me. But I know Paris most likely played normal or harder. What about you? You played a normal difficulty, or you made it easier for
So
you?
yeah, because of my job now, I actually can't play during the week, right? So I only had 2 weekends, right? So the first weekend, I put about 20 hours into it. I played it all on normal, and then the second weekend, I'm playing on normal, getting my butt kicked. Like, listen, I need to beat this game, right?
Hmm.
So I bumped it down to easy because there is story mode and there's easy mode, right? Bumped it down to easy. I was still having a challenge, but it was a good challenge, so I kept it at easy. Right now, that now that I finished, I bumped it back up to normal and stuff because I do feel playing on a normal forces you to use every weapon, right? But and I'm glad you say that because me and you, like, obviously we would prefer to play the whole thing on normal, but like you said, we don't got the time, right? And I play 20 hours on normal, and I'm playing it on normal again, so I feel I could talk about it adequately. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, there's no shame in it. You want to play on story mode, you do you. There's a reason the option exists, right? You don't have time, you play it on story mode, you're good to go. So I did the same thing, and I was still getting a challenge anyway. Like even on easy, I'll still die sometimes. It
Yeah,
happens, right?
yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm cheaping out or whatever because I'm still getting a challenge. It's just on normal. Right now I'm okay because I upgraded my weapons and stuff. And obviously, if you want to do that, if you want to grind and get your weapons good, you'll do better. But me and Danny, we kind of didn't have the time for that, so it's like, all right, we just play on easy mode. But again, even easy is still extremely brutal, man. So
And it's still
yeah,
fun. Like
yeah, it's still fun. Yeah, yeah.
it's not one of those like, well, it's easy, just slice and
No,
you're
it's not.
done. No, it is challenging, but again, we both been having a great time just
Yes.
even doing that. I appreciate that a lot because there's games in the past where they say you're playing normal and you change it to easy because you just want to know more about the story. I feel like it's way too easy.
Way too easy. Yeah, I
This
don't like
one
that.
does
Yeah.
not fit. Like I think
No.
Gorilla did a great job on that. On even if you play this easy or story mode, whatever, it still feels challenging. It's not that easy at
I
all. It's
agree.
a
I agree.
challenge. It's a
But at the same
challenge.
time, I appreciate that because you said that's why I don't like easy mode because I don't want to just blow through the game. I want a challenge, but I want something that's not crazy,
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
feel that easy mode in this should have been normal mode, to be
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
But no, I'm glad that exists in there, and I'm glad you said that too. I was also think it's important for us to say that because some people feel ashamed. You shouldn't feel ashamed
It
if
shouldn't.
yeah,
It
if
shouldn't.
normal don't work for you, bump it down. No one's I mean, some stupid idiots on Twitter may judge you, but you don't worry about those people.
Nah, nah, nah.
You play games. What Danny, like you always say, you play for fun, right? So
Yeah,
if it ain't fun for you to get your butt kicked all the time, bump it down a little bit. You're
yeah.
still gonna enjoy the same experience.
Yeah, and honestly, at the end of the day, it's whatever choice you have. Like if you want to go
Yes,
hard, normal, easy, whatever you want. As long you're having fun, I think that's the most important thing.
exactly.
Now, my question I was going to ask you, Tony, like the new weapons, the new stuff that you could do in this game that was not available in the first one. Your thoughts about it? I think it's really really cool, and like even the puzzles are very interesting in this game.
Yeah, I like that.
And challenging too.
Yeah, like one of the new weapons, it's kind of like a spin disc type of thing that kind of shreds enemies up. But a lot of the old ones kind of came back, like the rope caster. I like the rope caster because you could tie enemies down to the ground and it
Hmm.
makes it a little bit easier. You could, ride, robots like you could before. You could like use a grappling hook that was not in the first game. That was really dope. You could get to a lot of things. and I really appreciated the platforming in this game. It was very, it was almost like you're playing something like Infamous or something like that. You know, it's very intense, or Tomb Raider, I guess would be more appropriate. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed that. But I like the arsenal altogether, like different types of bows. You get like there's like bombs you could also use. You could use traps, and I also like that too. They have different skill trees, and you could either like focus on one skill tree, like a warrior, you're better with melee, hunter, you're better with bow and arrow and all that. Infiltrator, you could do more sneaky stuff. I like to mix it up a little bit, so I put points into everything, but I appreciate it. And then there's these things called valor points that you could use like skills and stuff. Like for example, if you have infiltrator, like you'll see like this really cool animation. Then Aloy will like the predator go like completely invisible. Or when I use this, it's the hunter valor where you makes your shots hit harder from a further distance. Like she does this cool animation where she puts paint all over her face and stuff. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it a lot. And like you said, you kind of need all that to give you an edge, because some of these robots like, yo, no, we're not giving you a break, bro. I'm gonna kick your butt right now.
No, it's brutal. It could get really
Yeah,
really brutal. But I also wanted to ask you like the dual sense, because look, that's something that some games, especially games that is available also for PS4 and PS5, sometimes the developers they don't do it right when it comes to the controllers, right? The dual sense. I
yeah,
feel like with this, with Horizon Forbidden West, it was okay. It wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't the worst, because there were certain situations, where I felt if I need to use a weapon to open a door or an area, it felt good with the dual sense, and I haven't really felt that in other games. Some games is just hit our trigger and that's it, But this one, you could tell that Gorilla not went all the way in with the features of DualSense, but it was enough that was satisfied with that. Do you feel the
yeah.
same too, or no?
Oh no, I'm glad you said that specifically. It feels good, right? It's not bad, it's not great, it's good, right?
Hmm.
Because like for example, when you're using bow and arrow, I never felt it at all. I think
No.
that was a little bit of a missed opportunity. But you're right, when you're trying to pry open a door or like ignite these like kind of things that called fire gleam,
Hmm.
like you have to really push on the R2 just to get it down. So I appreciated that, but it's not in your face. I still say the best game for DualSense is Astro's Playroom. That has the very best like dual sense of any game, which is really crazy if you think about it. But you're right, some of the games just forget about it. So I appreciate that this had a little bit. I also felt the rumble was really good. Like it had different types of rumbles depending on what's going on. But I will say this though, your controller will not last long. I always have to charge mine up after I play this game, man,
Yeah.
because of the features and all that. But and I'm thinking about it now. I didn't. You know how sometimes you hear sounds from the speaker? I didn't really hear any in this game, like
There was
extra
a
sounds.
couple. There was a couple. Like
Yeah,
even when you're going to like using the grappling hook to like another area, you hear it.
that's right.
You
Yeah,
hear it
yeah,
there in the controller. So like certain things, it's not something that really took advantage of it. And
yeah.
I think it has to do with, and this is something
Also on
that,
PS4. I know what
yeah,
you're gonna say that.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
If it's a game that's also ported for the PS4, companies, studios don't really take advantage of that. But if it's a game where it's 100% PlayStation 5, that's when you see the difference, and you could tell. Like
Yeah.
Astro, when you play Ratchet and Clank, or even other games, even Deathloop. Like when you play games like that, that is
Yes.
100% PS5, dude. You could tell the difference. You could tell. You could tell the
You really can.
you could tell like the trigger, the sound of everything with the DualSense. Am I right?
You're right. Yeah, yeah, you're right about. I was thinking about that. Yeah, right. The only games that really do it right are pure PS5 exclusives. Ratchet and Clank had great dual sense in that, and not only the dual sense, but also the rumble, the haptics, everything was fantastic in that.
Hmm.
Deathloop was also really good. So this one, like you said, just because it's a PS4 game, but at the same time, Spider-Man had good dual sense too, and that was a PS4 game. Miles Morales, that had pretty
Yeah,
dope,
it's dope. It's
yeah,
dope, but
yeah.
it's not like
But it's
Ratchet and
yeah, yeah.
Clank or
No,
Deathloop
yeah,
level. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, yeah.
it felt like it's similar to this game. Like it's good, but it's not
Yeah.
great. It's not the greatest. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah,
it obviously doesn't detract from the main game, but
yeah,
it is something to note for sure. Yeah.
yeah. And what else other stuff that stood out to you in this game that you didn't get the previous one. Because you played Horizon for years ago. Was there
Yeah.
anything that stood out to you for this one?
Yeah, like I said, the main thing that stood out for me was just the PS5 graphics, and obviously I'm playing on a way better TV, right? So I get to enjoy the HDR and all that. The game just looks beautiful, man. Like there isn't a single part of this world that doesn't look good. But other than that, and again, this is not a negative. It's just being honest. It felt like the same, not the same thing. It felt like more of the same, right? But that's also not a bad thing. But it didn't feel like revolution. Like when you played God of War, right? You're like, whoa, this is not like the PS2 games. This is a different God of War, right? And I also felt that now I'm not going to spoil story stuff, but I felt something should have been pushed a little bit further. But at the same time, I'm also glad they didn't like do some stuff like The Last of Us, where it's like controversy. There's no controversy here. This is the story will be very pleasing to you, the way it goes. And also, spoilers, but you're like, oh, what's going to happen next? You know what I'm saying? So it does a really good job of that. But I felt that it was basically like a true sequel in the sense that it's giving people more of the same, but that's not a bad thing.
Hmm. Yeah, there was moments where you think it's over, but it's not over. I don't know if you felt
Yeah.
that way. There was a
No,
couple. There was a
yeah.
couple. You're like, I'm
Yeah.
almost done. You're like, not really. It's not done yet.
No, I didn't get that sense. Valhalla gave me that too many times. Like, oh, this game's so. Oh no, it's not.
Yeah, yeah.
This one, I think there was one point where it could be that, but for the most part, it did follow a kind of strict 3-act structure of like you would see in a movie or anything else. So you're like, oh, you're at this part, you're up to this part.
Hmm.
But yeah, and there's some cool things. No spoilers towards the end. You're like, oh, this is dope, and I really enjoyed that. But again, it's just expanding on the world of Horizon, and I feel they could do so much. So my main thing is because this game took a long time to come out, so I hope the next game doesn't take as long,
Yeah.
because I want to see more. And I think that's my way of saying how much I like this game, because even though I felt that it was a lot of the same, I'm still playing the game, Danny. I haven't stopped. I don't want to stop. It's too good. And I want to see what else. And not only do I want to see what comes in the next game, I want to read books. I want to see a animated TV series. There's so much in this world that you can see. So I want to see Sony really take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm glad that this game is also available for PS4. Because look, again,
Yes.
still to this day, it's hard to find a PS5. Now, the question I was going to ask you, for someone that's listening to this show and they only have a PS4, do you think this is going to like take it to the next level for that console graphically, the experience? Because some people are not going to get that dual sense experience playing, because how it is, Tony. Like, when you play a PS5 game using that controller, it's a totally different experience. Totally different
Yeah.
experience, right? Uh, if you someone that has a PS4, do you think this is something that is worth getting on the PS4, or should they wait till they get their PS5, or not? What you think?
Yeah, I mean, we already kind of said it. The DualSense, it's just a little bit better, right? So you're not going to be missing much. And I'm glad Sony did this too. They put out a video of the game purely running on a PS4 Pro. Looked incredible,
It
right?
looks really
Obviously,
good,
it's
really good.
yeah, yeah. It's not running at 60 frames, but I believe it's running a little bit higher, right? It has its own version of performance mode.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you have a PlayStation, obviously it's still extremely difficult to get a PS5. My opinion, Danny, don't wait. Get the game. Get the game right now. Enjoy it, and then when you finally can get a PS5, get the free upgrade and either start a new game or continue. Because I don't feel you should miss out just because of it being also on PS5. Again, despite me saying that it feels like more of the same, the game is so good. I still think it's the best PlayStation game that you can get right now. 2022. Like I think it's a very good start for Sony's year. So don't miss out. If you got a PS4, that's all you got. Get the game. Get the game. Upgrade for free when you get the PS5, because it is a really good experience. Like when you finish this game, you'll be like, "Yeah, man, that was dope. I had a lot of fun." And I think that's a good thing. You're not gonna go in there and be disappointed. I guarantee you that. Like if you didn't like the first game, you probably won't like this one. But if you like the first game, you're good to go. Do not miss it. That's what I got to say about that.
I mean, there's going to be people that are going to be saying, it looks the same. It looks the same as the first one. I don't think so. Like, there's certain things you do in this game that it feels very different.
Yeah.
Even the conversations you have with certain characters you get to meet in the game. When you're walking around in different locations, Tony, there's areas that's like, whoa,
Yeah,
this
you got to stop. You got to
you
stop
gotta
and look, take it
stop,
in. You know,
look
like whoa.
around.
Yeah.
Now, is there moments where you're like, okay, I gotta do this side quest. I see this green icon here. Let me just do it. Or you were one of those like, I just want to focus on the main story.
Yeah, I mean, obviously because of the review, I just went for the main story. So for my second week, for the first weekend, I was like, oh no, I'm playing this normal, right? But right now, Danny, that's how I'm playing. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do the side mission. Oh wait, hold on, what's that over there? Then I'm gonna go do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the way I would normally play it. Like even though I do try to focus on the main story, if I see something cool, because there's so many little things in the world, right? You're like, wait, what is that? I want to go see it. And usually when you go explore it, you will find something cool. You're not gonna just go out of the way to find nothing, you know. So I encourage people, because obviously you're like me and Dan, you don't have to review the game and take it all in. Take your time with the game. Don't rush, because there's so much to do, so much to see, and all of it is worth your time. All of it. You know, again, Guerrilla Games did such a really good job of just populating this world with activities, but not overstuffing it. Like you're never gonna be like, oh my god, like please just end this already. You're never gonna feel that way. You're gonna be like, one more game, one more game, one more game. You know, and I think that's probably the best thing I say about it. It's like everything, even if it's not like completely original, it is so well done. You could tell masters worked at this, and whether you get it on PS4 or PS5, you're gonna be extremely satisfied. Do not miss out.
Yeah, there was part in the game, Tony, that I felt I just love the conversations, and I love the representation that you get to see in the
Yeah.
game of all races, like even the hair. It was like this for the first game, but I feel like with
Hmm.
this one, it was even more of that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it felt good seeing that. I think they did a great job on creating the characters in the game, the hair, just the gear that they're having. It looks really really cool. And there's one moment in the game where you hear a lot of people singing. There's no spoiler, but you hear people singing that like it felt good. It felt something where you would only get that also with movies too. Like it was
Yeah.
very iconic moments like that. I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. So I was just walking around and just enjoying the environment in the game. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
A lot of
was
cinematic moments, like you said, a
oh my
lot of
god,
them.
a
Yeah.
lot, a lot. And there's gonna be moments where it feels like Tomb Raider, Uncharted ish,
Yes.
right? But also there's moments that conversations in the game that gets really deep. That's beyond the game.
Yeah.
That stood out to me. Was there moments like that for you too that you were like, oh, okay, this is